Hello everyone, welcome back to Joy's Creative Finger. Ning Mixayboua requested that I build an actual wedding venue. I've gone ahead to do that. I like this building. I've done something completely different to the front. But before we go on a full tour of this property, I would like you to know that we're having a wedding going on right now. So we're going to hurry off to the back because a beautiful bride is about to walk down the aisle. I have decided to have 4 bridesmaids and 4 groomsmen. The color theme is lilac. As you can see, it's very coordinating. And I've used teens for my bridesmaids. And the reason for this is these lilac dresses are full length and they get to wear wristbands that have flowers on them, so that's quite nice, and they get to wear tiaras as well, and that's perfect. So yeah, they are the 4 that support the bride throughout this occasion. On the other hand, we have grown men for the groomsmen because they've got the lilac waistcoats and the purpley lilac shoes as well. They've got grey trousers, and then the main groom himself wears a whole grey suit. So I think that's a perfect arrangement. I have a mix of adults and teens witnessing the ceremony. We only have 12 seats out here, so they happen to be the select few that would be part of the ceremony here. And then of course we have the bride waiting at the bottom of the aisle to walk up and meet her Prince Charming. I love the actions. Some of them wipe their tears away, some of them are taking pictures and probably tweeting them and on Instagram, and then they, look over their shoulder backwards to see the bride walking down the aisle. The actions are really realistic and fantastic. However, the wedding arbor and the wedding area is restricted to red petals, and this is a lilac wedding, but we have to make do. Anyway, it's time for her to walk down the aisle. So, this is how it goes, at least something like that. We are gathered today in the presence of God to witness the joining together of Aston and Kelly in holy matrimony. Do you, Aston, take Kelly to be your lawfully wedded wife to have and to hold, for richer for poorer, till death do you part? She says, yes, I do. He asks her, do you take Aston to be your lawfully wedded husband to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? She says, I do. And he says, if there's anyone who has a reason why these two shouldn't be married, speak now or forever hold your peace. You can hear a pin drop, and then he says, then I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. Woohoo! So Aston and Kelly have gone in to get ready for the next chapter of this wedding. The guests are also inside getting some drinks. We'll join them in a minute. But for now, let's nosy around and take a look around this venue. I noticed that the small plots have water lilies around them, but the big plots don't have that. We only have the swans for the big plots. I wonder why that is. Anyway, there is access from the wedding arbor area into the property through those double doors, and then I have some pocket balconies that have some plants in them. We've got the vines, the sunflowers, and some pink hanging flowers, which are quite nice. They coordinate with the roof, The favorite part of the build for me was the entrance. Making an entrance or a grand style entrance of any kind is complicated. You always end up with the same look all the time. And I wanted something different. It looks like a geisha fan in some way. I have the same pocket balcony on the side here with plants in them. But yes, something I really focused on was the entrance to the building. Now, these champagne bottles signal that a function is taking place, and when they're off, it means nothing is happening. This is the entrance to the building right here. You come into a little entrance with a couple of flowers, nothing too special. It's like a commercial building, and then a long corridor from end to end of the property. At the left end, we have the caretaker's office. You would contact this office to make bookings and reservations for different spaces in this functional building. and the caretaker would remain on site throughout the entire duration of any event. At the end of that long corridor is a large restroom in place there, and then there's a set of double doors that lead into the main bar area. So this is the space that most of them came in through from the back there into this lobby. So it's like a bar type of a lobby, and it's also a party area as well. So you have to assume that this bar would cater to other kinds of parties down here, not just weddings. But certainly this is where they hang out and wait for their lunch to be served upstairs. Let me get them to get a couple of drinks at the modern bar, and let's get Nikki here to get a drink as well. I love the way that Sim is dressed. So yes, and then let's get them to sit down. Oh, come on, you can sit down. There. Wonder why she refused in the first place. Let's get a number of them sitting. There we go. So it's a really bubbly area to hang out in. And then we have a door that leads into an area where we just have the sinks. There's no toilet unit there. So you might just want to pop in and get your hands washed. But further in, we've got actual restrooms to make use of. While this one is on the outside, this one has a door before the doors that lead into the restrooms, just to extend privacy before the lobby space, you know what I mean? So the next thing for us to do is to stop them from dancing and have them get upstairs to get seated. This is a much calmer setting. They've all come upstairs through that staircase there and the other one over here. Being a public building, a lot of people use the space, so you have to have multiple access ways to different parts of the building. The bride and groom are still touching up for the next phase, and they'll be seated in no time. However, we have the guests all seated and ready, which is exactly what we like, before the bride and groom make an entrance as Mr. and Mrs. Diamond. Now, unlike the other musical equipments in the game, I realized that the microphone, the guitar, the piano, well, keyboard and the drum set all go for 16 minutes and anyone can play them, so they're completely different. You don't have to be a teen idol to play those or have the entertainment life orb to play those instruments, but it's just 16 minutes. And we have the dance floor in place, all nice and ready for the bride and groom to have their first dance. And they have a private entrance to get through to the high table through that white door. And they can also come down via either end of the escalator behind them. However, the escalators aren't for exclusive use. It leads upstairs to the kitchen, the groom's and the bride's prep room. So both escalators come up to this long corridor, and on one end we have the door that leads into the massive kitchen. I've got 3 chefs working away tirelessly to feed all these Sims. I like the fact that we have a grill that fits in place with a workstation for the chocolatier, all silver with the industrial fridge. It's a great look. Now through this corridor here, we come into the bride and bridesmaids prep room. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, it's snug, and basically they sit down here and regain composure for the next chapter of the wedding. The new bride certainly has taken the liberty to touch up once more before showing up as Mrs. Diamond to the rest of the guests. She's done, so let's move ahead and see what else there is. We have some boxes that the bridesmaids have come in with. Ladies move around with a lot of baggage, makeup, shoes, you name it. And this is the massive bathroom for them. Perhaps she'll take a shower before coming down, you never know. Now we have the men's prep room through the corridor, through the double doors, and here they are. They don't really do that much. They banter away, and he's certainly free to wander through to see his bride. It's not like the initial stage where they had to stay apart before the wedding, so I just thought I'd keep them apart in different spaces so you can see their different prep rooms with them in it. This chair is in place to stop them from going out that door. That's how I keep Sims still. If I want them to go out, I'll swap it into a double-seater instead. And they have their own restroom. It's not as massive as the one for the ladies. They just have the bare necessities. I'm not being mean. Anyway, I think we're done up here, and it's time to get them to go downstairs and meet the guests and get them eating. And so the best man gets everyone nice and quiet, and then he says something really inappropriate in form of a slurred speech. And then there are all kinds of responses from the crowd. Some people are cringing, some people are just sitting tight, acting as though they don't understand what's going on. Believe me, this is the moment when people say the most inappropriate stuff. And of course we have the groom tweeting away at what his best man has supposedly said that he will remember and take to his grave with him. Anyway, I absolutely love the arrangement on the high table. I did mention in the build for the castle that my wedding colors were lilac, and that's why I chose this color for this wedding anyway. It just brought back memories. So probably by now you're wondering how my Sims are sitting down at these tables and eating, because when we got them we realized that you couldn't do this. Well, simply it's because I have placed other tables underneath by glitching, and so they were able to sit down and eat like we would have hoped they should have been able to. I wouldn't worry about it because Sims FreePlay usually get round to fixing these glitches, and they've already done that now with the industrial worktop unit, so that's great. So don't worry about it. In no time they should sort that out. At least I hope so. So now I think that we need to cut the cake, and we also need to get them dancing so that we can all go home and reminisce about the day. The other thing about this cake is it's great because the Sims can actually interact with it. They cut the cake, get together, give themselves a kiss, and the only thing that would have been perfect is if they could have a bite and maybe squish it in their faces. That would be hilarious. Anyway, where is Madame? Mr. and Mrs. Diamond. There we go. And slice. Now they get to have their first dance of the evening. The only thing missing from this wedding is the toddlers. Now I have toddlers, quite a few of them. They would have been here, but you have to purchase the toddler outfits with real cash, and I didn't think I was going to do that. It really wasn't worth it for me. I do spend cash in the game every now and again using my free coupons that I spoke about in lots of my videos, but in this case it just wasn't worth it. If it was maybe the bride's gown, then of course I'd scramble for it, but I didn't think it was necessary. Thank you so much for watching and attending Austin and Kelly Diamond's wedding. They are thankful that you came, and I shall see you again soon. Have a lovely day.